I tend to find a panic attack.
I like to call it my Jedi robe.
It is.
Yeah, it's nice.
You Last Jedi?
Yeah, I liked it.
You liked it?
It was. I had issues, and we've talked about this. Are we recording yet?
Yeah, we're recording.
Yeah, this is our cold open. We haven't actually said open. At some point, I was
okay.
going to tell y'all that y'all realize y'all been on
Yeah,
Yes,
been on there
right.
camera for a while.
I had issues with it constantly edging. Like, okay, this is what the climax of the movie's going to be, but no, it's not. And this is what the climax of the movie's going to be. No, never mind.
Okay, can we all agree though, and I've said this multiple times, that when Holdo shot her ship into
That was the best
Snoke's
part of the
ship,
whole
Yeah, but up to that point, it was
Phenomenal.
stupid because like I'll stay and distract him, and you see her standing there the entire. They're blowing the ships away. She's standing there like that's your plan to stand there.
well,
Attack him right away.
I mean, I'm not gonna defend it, but
It visually looked cool, but the story could have been done so much better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Overall,
So-
a lot of things just wasn't necessary.
So I'm going to start with the music now.
all right.
And it's playing in the background that you can't hear.
What?
And we're dancing. And today they can see us dancing.
Oh, I don't like that.
Welcome to the Old Titans. This is number one Old Titan, I guess, since I'm older, maybe?
You are the oldest Titan.
I'm the oldest Titan.
I'm the middle-aged Titan.
Okay, the
No,
oldest
wait,
Titan.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm John Paul. How about that?
Yeah, the co-creator, executive producer, CEO, CFO, sound editor-chief, the one and only B-Man.
You forgot Grand Poobah.
I was not gonna add that one.
No?
It's
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't have his
Monopoly.
hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we do have guests. And for anybody who does not know it, you can actually go watch us this week on YouTube. We're actually recording this visually, not just audibly. So, everybody wave.
Hey.
Yeah. So we do have a couple of guests that you can see. And if you're not watching it on YouTube, you can hear. So our guests are...
My name is Byron.
I'm Miranda.
I'm not a Titan.
No,
I'm
no. It's not Miranda. It's...
Red.
There you
a
go.
Red.
I
Red.
used that nickname a while ago.
That
Nice.
was my name.
I gave
And I get the red shirt too
Yeah,
today.
she's-
So.
It works out.
red.
Yeah, it works out.
So,
It was the Red Terror originally, and she changed.
I didn't add the terror part. I want you to guess who did though.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Just
based on the conversation before, you could be Beard Man.
Beard man? No.
Or
not
the
yet.
beard, or just the
I'm
beard?
Not, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm not yet. It's not ready. Not
Pre-beard.
ready yet. Pre-beard.
You're pre-beard man. I don't know. Okay. So, as usual, we're going to start out with our B-Man question of the week.
Not really a
from
question.
Last time.
More of a come up with an original comic book story. Can you come up with an original comic book story?
Original comic book story.
Yeah.
Like
Can be
something no one's
Elseworld,
ever
what
done.
If, yeah, something that hasn't really happened before.
I think we probably could. Should we let our guests go first?
No, I want to go last.
Give them time
last.
because we kind of just talked about this a minute ago.
All right. So, I have a little something that I've been working on.
All right.
The working title right now is Blink. And long story short, the main character is in a, I guess, post-apocalyptic era where technology is advanced, but there was even more advanced technology in the past. And the main character has a piece of technology that allows him to, if you know, like old school magic, like it's blink, so he can blink and teleport essentially around the
Right.
place. And he can teleport so fast sometimes that he can create after images of himself. So my character is like I don't want to say he's a bounty hunter, but more of like a mercenary.
Yeah.
And he hunts using that blink tactics, and it's going to get him in trouble. I just haven't figured that out yet.
Cool. All right. So you got the basic setup there.
I don't want to follow that. You can follow that one.
Can we follow that? Okay. Mine's a little sillier.
Yeah,
But
I
I
figured
went silly too.
but I like it. It's something story of always. Somebody at some point needs to do a comic, not just a book, but a comic book not autobiography, but a biography of Stan Lee. I mean, Stan Lee needs not just a biography written about him, but it needs to be in comic book form.
Yeah.
To me, that's just kind of natural. But I want them to go a step further and do the untold story of Stan Lee and have it discovered that when he was a child, when he was Stanley, and I don't remember his real last name, but he was Stanley, whatever, that he discovered magic and all this kind of stuff. And he discovers that if he says the word Excelsior, that calls down the magic, and he becomes a superhero. And he's secretly this hero as a kid who turns into this thing and all. And you kind of got a little Shazam thing going on
Yeah.
there. You blend in some of the stories that he told later in life,
Yeah.
and let this be the inspiration. His own adventures were the inspiration for the
For his
stories he
comic books.
created.
So this
and
is-
let him be not just the founder of the whole Marvel Universe, but the one
One
who
of
was
the
really the
founders.
first hero in the Marvel Universe in a
So
way.
it's kind of like Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, but with Stan Lee version.
I
Yeah, I can't
I don't
remember
know.
what it is.
Really?
Confessions of the Dangerous Mind.
Yeah, the guy
That's a
from the,
cool title.
the guy from
Yeah.
the Gong Show, the original, I guess, host, whatever.
that okay, yes, okay,
And he
that
had
one.
told the
Yes.
story of how he's some secret spy or whatever it is. And
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit like that. It's just the untold secret history, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
What
But
about
I just
Jack?
thought it'd be really cool to have a young Stan Lee who says Excelsior and turns into a hero. And
I think that's a
does all
great
that.
Is
idea.
Jack Kirby
did
his
you raise your
sidekick?
hand for real?
Cool. Well, it's on camera,
It's
so
on
people would see
camera.
that her being
It's
polite.
Yeah, we can actually do the hand gestures now, and it actually means something.
So watch the hand gestures this week.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so there's my idea. So it's a little silly, but again, it's paying homage to
Yeah,
one of the
well, okay,
greatest.
this-
You know, I
probably
think it's cool.
Get ready to get blown away here, guys. This is gonna fry you.
Oh damn.
I forgot the question for next week. Never mind. And it's done this week. Okay. Superman. We all know Superman's story. The last son of Krypton, which is like 20 sons later, because everybody's still alive apparently. And anyways, so he's a regular guy, but flies Earth, magic power or superpowers.
Yes,
Sun,
not
whatever
magic.
it
Not
is.
magic. He's vulnerable to magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just say, for argument's sake, that one of those pods lands. Little kid gets out, but he's carrying a Krypton flu. All the antibiotics and everything would be on Krypton. This flu could possibly, with the sun hitting it, could possibly be a little clone, could turn into like this huge, world-destroying fever. And that's what actually happens. It comes post. You like this, huh?
I do. I
This
really
is cool.
do.
I don't have an ending yet.
I can debunk the entire thing.
No,
What I'm not
no,
gonna do
just,
right
just
now.
don't talk right now. You can't debunk Krypton flus because you never had them before.
No,
But when
no,
you
but-
have a Krypton bug, you debunk it all you want.
Okay.
But as of right now, you can't. So this thing gets blown out of proportion and wipes out the entire race, except for a couple people who are trying to fight it off. They're trying to figure out how to fight it off.
I mean, naturally, somebody would have like an immunity, just statistically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, but you gotta find out who it is, how many people die in the process. Is it a smart person?
Like, you have to like not be infected. Is it like an airborne type thing? Is it something that gets
Good.
transmitted?
Go ahead. Debunk.
Just-
I know
no,
you want to. I know you want to
not
debunk the
going
story.
to.
Go ahead. No, you want.
I'm
You're
going
dying
to
to.
put a challenge out to our listeners or our viewers even this time.
Mm.
If I get at least 10 emails asking for me to debunk this, the next time I'll do that.
Okay.
If I get at least 10 emails asking me to do it.
Not even
From
emails.
10 different
I mean,
people.
any kind of contact.
Contact,
Period. Tweets, Facebook messages,
Well,
anything.
through the internet.
I'm going to delete all the tweets. That's fine. I'm ahead of the tweet of me.
Well,
No.
I'm giving you a chance. If people don't care, then I'm not going to waste the
You
time.
could debunk it. I heard you debunked before.
But see, well, I'm sorry, I don't
Go
mean
ahead,
to
go
cut you off. But if he debunks it, it gives you more to work with, right? 'Cause now
Yeah.
you can make it more foolproof.
Agreed.
well, first of all, the story's not going to be told anyway.
Well, well, if you don't tell it, I might.
Just
Okay,
you
that's
know,
fine.
just crush all his dreams.
I crushed you.
So last person, do you have a story?
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Kind of. It's not entirely my own original idea.
I'm not
So I run a D&D campaign every Sunday.
Okay.
One of my DMs
Means
came up
Dungeon
with-
Master.
Means Dungeon Master, because you're watching this channel. Clearly, you are a non-nerd.
Yeah.
Whatever. But one of my DMs came up with the idea of like he's going to create our characters for us, but based off of our personalities.
Okay.
For me, I got shoehorned in a gnome artificer. For those of you who do not know what that is, it's basically fantasy IT. And I'm like, you know what? That would actually make a pretty interesting show.
Okay.
For high fantasy IT, where you have just like these little gnomes going around fixing everybody's magical equipment.
So it's a story about Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Not quite Oompa Loompas because they're not slaves.
Oh,
But-
that's a good
Well, they weren't
point, yeah.
slaves. No, they
Yeah.
voluntarily came in.
I think Willy Wonka's work ethic is probably questionable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't know of any HR department. It was just him, I assumed.
Yeah, it's just him
Yeah.
and them.
And
Well,
then-
and
There's a
them.
lot of them.
Could they form their own HR department?
Not if they, actually expect to have any rights, because the minute they stepped outside of the factory, they were kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But they could have been unionized. You don't know.
Yeah,
And-
but
and-
Oompa
who-
Loompa Union?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, and who exactly would be able to hold that up, though?
The Oompa Loompas, there's a lot of
I
them.
mean, he's not getting funding from the government, so I don't,
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
where he's getting all that money from.
Well, candy,
Well, yeah.
people
I'm thinking we're
buying into
spiraling
slavery.
downhill. All
I
right.
don't know why we like to talk there. I don't want to talk.
So, should we head into the news?
Yes, news.
All right. Right here. I'm doing this for the people listening. And look, for people who can see, I actually have news. Look at this. This is really cool. It's really cool. And for some
I
reason,
love
my
that.
camera's blinking. I don't know why. It wasn't blinking before, but it's blinking now.
Are you
So
recording,
if it stops,
little buddy?
Yeah, so if it stops, then it stops, but we still have the audio. So
Yeah.
here we go. News. Also take off the glasses because I'm an old titan and I can't read with my glasses on.
Wait, what?
With my glasses on, I can't read.
He's
I need
blind.
glasses for distance.
As a bat.
Interesting.
Yeah. they're
He's
just
an uncool
slivers.
Batman.
All right. So The Walking Dead mid-season premiere is coming up on February 25th, and it's been extended to 82 minutes. That's to give people lots of time to cry for characters that might or might not still be with us. For anybody who isn't caught up
I'm
and don't want
not.
to spoil.
I
I'm
haven't watched
not.
season 8, please.
No, I'm not
'cause
gonna-
I've
not
heard
gonna
it was
say.
really good. Like
Not
this
gonna say.
far.
One that I think both of us are probably happy about. Dan Slott is leaving Spider-Man. This is not brand new news, but he's leaving Spider-Man, going to Iron Man. But the rumor is that as he leaves Spider-Man, they're going to be undoing One More Day.
No kidding.
That's the rumor. So
I might actually buy a comic book.
I know. That's why I said me and you might really like that. It could be really cool. Coming up in just a couple of months, Action Comics, the first American comic at least to hit 1,000. So Action Comics number 1,000.
I could ask, is this legit 1,000 or is it kind of like
Yeah.
they didn't fast forward anything?
No, they went back. Even though when the New 52 started, they went back to number 1.
Mm-hmm.
They were still, they know how many issues are going. And when they redid the numbering back to the current, they counted those issues as what they would have been and picked up where it should.
Okay.
So issue number 1,000 is coming. It is going to have 10 different covers. The 10 different covers are going to have like one artist doing the 1930s version, one doing the 40s, one doing the 50s, and so on throughout.
Nice.
And then a couple of special tributes, and I think one blank one. Because for some reason, people like to do the blank variants to get artists and people to autograph.
I
their
think
own
it's
thing,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
get-
guessing it's going to be Superman versus Lex Luthor.
It's going to be a
That's for sure.
whole lot of stories, including an unpublished, unearthed, lost Siegel and Schuster original Superman story, one that never was published or printed back in the 30s and 40s. So that's kind of cool. And the most important part about the entire thing is they released the first cover already, which is Jim Lee doing the current era Superman. They're bringing back, drum roll please, the red trunks are back.
Ah,
So they're
why?
bringing back the red
Why?
trunks.
Why would they do that?
Yes, I know. I
Why
know.
would they do that?
I knew that'd be the reaction there, but
I'm a little upset. Why are you upset about this?
It looks cheesy. It looks so 19. I mean, it's not modern day.
It
The
looks,
red
it looks like he's
trunks?
wearing
The trunks,
underpants.
yes.
so the joke about Superman wearing the underwear on the outside of his
Yeah.
outfit, but he was designed after circus strongmen of the time,
Yeah.
and that was the way the costumes looked at the time.
Right.
Are you intimidated if a guy comes up to you wearing like underwear outside his pants? Are you gonna be intimidated?
Maybe
well,
that's
I
the
mean, I
idea.
would question his mental state.
Yeah,
but-
so
Which
that-
which
that's a
could
different
be
story.
intimidating on its own. It's like, why is this dude in underpants?
It's like
walking up
obviously
to me?
he knows something that I don't.
Right?
Like,
Just back away.
he's all right.
You know, and if he flew up to me, blasting people to my left and right
I'm
with his
just
eye
turning
vision
around.
and ripping a car apart and stuff, I don't care what he looks like.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right, well,
Got me.
you
We're
got your
done.
own fashion sense. I'm gonna be going my way. Bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty solid.
So, one that you're going to shake your head about again, but I agree with you on this one. The Joker is actually coming to Gotham, the TV show Gotham, but it's not going to be Jerome. They said Jerome is just an homage to the Joker, a whatever.
red herring?
That's
Yeah, red
in-
herring
yeah.
and so on.
How old
So-
is Bruce in Gotham right now?
He was 14 in the first season. They're up to season 4 now, maybe.
They destroyed that character. They destroyed Batman.
So he's.
Well, no, he was 8 because that's when his parents got shot.
I thought they said maybe the actor's 14. I don't know, but I thought
The
they said he
actor's
was 14.
14.
I thought they said he was 14, but I don't know.
But because he was 8
Anyway,
in season
he's
1.
definitely a teenager at this point.
Okay.
But
All
wait,
right.
Why would they have an older Joker than?
On the
I
that?
know
character's
this is what I'm trying to figure out
Yes.
because if they bring in
It's
Joker, but
Gotham.
It
he's
doesn't
like
make any sense.
weird.
Gotham does not make
The
sense.
whole purpose of Gotham is people gonna wonder, big crime-infested city. Batman comes up. Oh, okay, he's the hero, but is he the hero really? Because Gotham is still a huge crime-infested city. Now there's all bad guys. Those bad guys didn't exist until Batman existed.
Well, I mean, it's like a balance, right? Like when you have a very strong force of light, like not to quote Star Wars, but darkness or evil kind of goes up to rise against the challenge. So yeah.
Okay.
But
I
stop raising your hand.
No, I'm gonna keep raising my because I'm polite. Damn it. Anyway, how?
Non-explicit show.
Sorry.
Shame.
All of which I'm assuming all of you have seen Batman the Animated Series.
I mean,
Many
yeah.
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Okay. There was the episode of the trial where all the villains
Yep.
came together.
Yep.
Joker was the judge. to decide whether or not Batman was the reason for their creation. And they actually had the DA, who was actually against Batman throughout the entire episode, come and defend him, because if they could get her to prove that he did not create them, then maybe it's worth. And they ultimately came to the decision that he exists because you exist, and you exist because he exists. It's just an ever-flowing current.
Vicious cycle.
Vicious
So therefore,
cycle.
he created him, in a way.
And they created
I
him.
mean, how many people did Joker kill in the comics? You think thousands?
I can't even count.
A ridiculous number.
Batman never existed, was probably be alive, right?
That's a good question.
Gotham destroyed all that. Gotham's like,
Yeah.
now we need Batman in there.
So anyway,
Okay,
I thought
yes.
I'd throw that out there. Logan, the movie Logan,
Mhm.
got a nod at the Oscars for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Good.
I still haven't seen
She's
that
huge.
movie. I don't
It's
know what's wrong with
excellent.
me.
Complete random. I'm gonna throw this out there right now. The little girl from Logan, X-23, I forgot the character's
whatever,
name.
yeah.
She was up for Critics' Choice Award that she did not win. However, Brooklyn Prince won it from the Florida Project. Who was
Yeah.
a friend of my little daughter's. My
And that's very
little
cool.
daughter's friend.
Congratulations to her.
Yes, sweet little girl. I'm very happy for her.
I think somebody from the Florida Project got an Oscar nod for something, some
Probably Defoe, I'm
nomination.
guessing.
Probably him for
Yeah.
supporting actor, I believe.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
him.
The fact that
Um,
he doesn't have an Oscar yet.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll get one at some
he's
point,
an
but it'll be
amazing-
like a lot of these actors passed over, and they'll finally get one for something. You go, really, for that?
Yeah.
You didn't give it to him for all this other stuff,
Okay,
but
like
that one.
if he didn't get one for Boondock Saints, like that's arguably one of my favorite like William Dafoe's. Like he played his part almost perfectly.
So it happens.
Yeah.
But there was a snub. Wonder Woman got 0 Oscar nominations.
Wow.
Not
Oh,
even
yeah.
in the technical stuff that's only done on the nerd night of,
Yeah.
special effects and sound, all that kind of stuff.
That's
They gave
surprising.
Wonder Woman 0 nominations, which was a surprise because they usually look at other awards that come along first.
Right.
And those are usually a pretty good parallel.
Mhm.
And she'd gotten nominated in a lot of other things. Not on this one.
Nothing.
No
Wow.
Patty Jenkins, no movie, no screenplay, no special
Wow.
effects, no sound.
That's surprising because Wonder Woman was actually a really good movie.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yes.
The CW president has said that they're going to limit the superhero shows on the CW to no more than 4 at one time ever. They might have plenty of superhero shows, but there will only ever be 4 aired at one time. Of course, when they only had 2, they said there will never be any more than this, and they keep expanding. So I don't know how accurate that's going to
Isn't
be.
there 5 now?
There are 5, but only 4 airing at once. Because Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl are trading off the time slot.
Yeah.
iZombie, however, is a DC comic, and you could count her as a superhero.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
It's not in the same universe or anything else, but you could count iZombie as that.
Okay.
Riverdale is based on the Archie comics. Now, they're not superheroes, so he did say superhero show.
Right.
But iZombie kind of breaks the mold already.
Riverdale's a great show, man. I'm telling you.
Riverdale is based off of Archie. Where have I been? Well, I don't have TV. I don't have like cable. So
I don't have TV either, so
Yeah.
I'm as lost as you are.
I did not
Alright.
know it was based off of Archie.
Alright.
That's interesting.
Netflix?
Adam?
No. Let's talk about that.
Touch on there. The next one is a spoiler. So I'm going to ask you if you want me to spoil something. Since you're not reading comics, I have a feeling you don't care. But spoiler warning for anybody out there who's listening. There's a new Ghost Rider in the comics right now.
Okay.
Oh.
He's from the future, so it's not like
Aw.
replacing the current one. It's in a storyline with Thanos and all this kind of stuff, and it is officially the Ghost Rider in the future, and it's been around for a while, and his identity was finally revealed about who he is. Do you want to know?
Sure.
All right, one more drum roll, please.
Dan Cash, Johnny Blaze, one of the two?
The Punisher, Frank Castle, first becoming a Galactus Herald, and
What?
then becoming Ghost Rider.
No way.
I
Well, it
can-
makes perfect
Actually,
sense.
yeah, I can actually see that
Yeah.
happening. I can actually.
It makes
I-
That
perfect
actually
sense.
is a good story. I would have been
I want
Yeah.
to.
I thought the Herald and Galactus part though was weird.
Yeah.
That,
care
that's
about.
weird, but him becoming Ghost Rider, I could actually.
That actually-
I
that fits really
see
well.
It does, because I
It
mean,
does.
But
yeah.
Ghost Rider doesn't kill. Frank Castle kills a lot.
Ghost Rider
This is
drags
the future
people
of
to
Ghost
hell.
Rider.
Technically,
Yes.
that's killing
Well,
them.
When you don't know what the future Ghost Rider does?
Yeah.
Does he
we don't
drag
know
them to
yet.
hell or
Yeah.
does he set their souls on fire?
I don't
I think
There.
it's both.
All right.
Is it both?
So
Okay.
last news story, and I'm going to leave it at this and see if anybody has any comment on it because it's one I just want to. It's like really, and I just can't believe it every time I think about it. Really, saw a trailer the other day for this. I think the trailer is actually on the front of it. Maybe, maybe not. I saw it somewhere like that. That favorite movie from the '80s that was not really good but was fun. Crocodile Dundee has a sequel coming.
What?
Dundee, It's titled Dundee. It's
I
Crocodile Dundee Jr., their son, who's grown up in the city, going back to Australia to see if he can make it in the outback.
I thought that was a joke.
The trailer's out there.
Who's playing Dundee? Did they say?
They said, I can't remember the actor's name, but man, it looks so bad.
Oh
It
no.
looks
I'll get the information for you in a second while we do this.
so bad.
But why? Why? I mean, I guess we're
Why
running out
not?
of things. but-
Yeah.
Well, they ran out of things years ago. They really did.
I just.
I mean,
So-
the original Crocodile Dundee was great. I watched it many, many times. I will even go as far to say that I enjoyed the second one. As nutty as it was.
It was okay. But
Didn't enjoy the third one, but it doesn't need to continue.
it doesn't need to
anymore.
continue.
Just let it die.
But there it is. There it
Just
is.
Let it have its fame and just
Yeah.
leave it at that. Don't
All right.
tarnish it.
As I flipped my piece of paper over from front to back,
Ooh.
I realized there was one more story, which
Chris
is kind of
Hemsworth?
important. No. No.
That's what the rumor right now is.
No. I mean,
No.
they show the actor in the trailer, and he's a comedian.
It might be one of the Hemsworths, though.
They're
No.
saying Chris,
It's not.
who's
It's not,
AKA Thor.
it's not him. But they've already shown
That's
it.
all the same.
I'm just saying they've already shown him.
Okay, that's fine, John
And
Paul.
probably
you
like-
see him from the back as the camera zooms in, as he gets close.
You're saying the internet's wrong, John Paul. I found that hard to believe.
You think somebody would do that? Go on the internet and lie?
I can't believe it. What is this work coming to?
We just
That
broke-
should be a news topic
We
right
just
now, John
broke the
Paul.
world by saying that to everybody.
Come on, like, oh man.
I'm imagining you with that face now.
So the real last news story. That was the joke final one. The real last news story leads us into our main topic for today. All right. So the lead promoter. I'm going to read this so I don't get anything wrong here. The lead promoter and founder of the East Coast Comic Con, Cliff Galbraith, bragged on social media this week about banning Christian conservative actor Kevin Sorbo from the upcoming Geek Convention in New Jersey because of the actor's friendship with Sean Hannity. So the question is, well, first, why? But beyond that, does politics have a place in fandom?
First of all, who is Sean Hannity? I don't even know who that is.
He's one of the main anchors on Fox News.
Okay.
Kevin Sorbo does stuff?
He still
Anymore?
does stuff. He was on
Oh.
Supergirl this season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot,
Okay.
but
He
still
doesn't
does
have to
some
do a lot
stuff.
anymore. He's done Hercules for years.
He had Hercules, followed by Andromeda. And,
Yeah, he's set for life, I think.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just first, general thoughts. I mean, before we dig into it, just general thoughts on this story specifically.
Byron, lead off.
All right, so I don't believe that politics should have a very. Let me rephrase. Politics will always have a point to play in fandom, but you should keep the politics to the story politics. It shouldn't be something that should mirror the real world.
Or bleed into it.
Or what?
Or bleed into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mainly because you kind of enjoy these fandoms because it doesn't, remind you of the real world. Because real world sucks. We like our fandom, right? We don't want our fandom tarnished with, all of this other, chaotic and just hateful stuff from outside. Keep the hateful stuff in the stories, but it makes sense, So.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to completely agree with Byron in this one. I mean, there's a lot of politics going on right now, especially now, a lot of hate, a lot of things I can't stand.
Right.
And I agree, a lot of messages they're pushing out there. At the same point, you come to work, you hear about these things, anything you hear about, how it affects your job, how it affects the world around you. You need that escape from reality sometimes. I want to sit in front of the couch, put the TV on, and just escape for an hour. I want to read a book and just escape. You need that escape to unwind. And when it bleeds into that, when it's on the TV now, just
Yeah.
metaphorically speaking, it's something else happens, but that's not what you know that's what it
Yeah.
means.
Well,
You can't
and-
escape it anymore.
And I mean, how many people do you really think would go to this or any other convention to see Kevin Sorbo that are really there for any other reason other than, oh, I loved you as Hercules?
Yeah.
Does it really matter what his politics are?
Not at all.
No.
Now, maybe it matters if he's a, convicted felon, rapist, murderer,
Well, then, yes,
horrible
I
stuff.
would like him
Those
there.
are different things. None of which is true that we're aware of.
No, we're
But,
not
if
sure.
there's something horrible like that, but if it's just a difference of opinion,
Yeah.
no matter how different the opinion is,
Yeah.
does it really matter?
I have to agree. I mean, you cannot ban someone just because of their political views. I mean, that's just how they view things. They haven't actually done anything illegal that we know of.
Right.
Then there's really no reason to ban them in the first place.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing on this one. he was never actually invited to the show. So by putting
Wait,
out
what?
putting out the statement that he is being banned was just a grab for publicity, which
It
we're kind of
was.
buying into here. We're
It
actually
worked.
talking about it,
Oh, yeah.
but who?
It's like
You know,
he's waking up and
I've been being
his
too from
piles
there.
of cash, and it's just like, what? You're not inviting me to your
No,
conference?
not only not invited, he can't come. I guess he can't show up as a guest either, or just show up as.
I mean, he could show up like we would show up and pay for a ticket.
But
Yeah.
he can't, like, get autographs or like, oh, this is me or something like that. I'm
Actually, that'd be kind of funny if Kevin Sorbo paid the $100 or whatever it cost to go to the convention
Right.
and walked around just signing autographs for free left and right,
yeah.
just to rub it in. That would actually be kind of funny.
That would
He
be
should.
funny.
He should do.
Yeah.
But he make money for the. That's just weird to me. You're banned. I didn't invite you, but you're banned.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
That's
I mean,
insane.
but the promoter of this show, the founder and promoter of the show, this is not the first weird thing he's done. Last year's event, the poster for it featured the Statue of Liberty wrapped in ribbons with words on, very much like a political cartoon, where you could read the words clearly: homophobia, misogyny, racism, xenophobia, voter suppression, and more, wrapped all around the Statue of Liberty. And that was his poster for their convention.
Okay.
That's
Huh.
propaganda.
This promoter is kind of off the deep
Yeah.
end a little bit.
Just
Not
a tad.
again, not that necessarily his views are wrong on any of these things.
What?
You don't want homophobia? No, you don't want these things? Sure, but
There's a time and there's
Yeah.
a place, right? Like people come to these conventions to, spend money and look at, their childhood,
Yeah.
happiness, like things that brought joy to them as their children and even now. So
I want to dress up as Lightning Lad and make fun of B-Man dressed up as what was it, Bullseye? Things like that.
My costume was awesome.
Well,
by
you're
the
gonna make
way.
fun of my Legion of Superheroes costume, so I just
I
cut
never
you
made
off.
fun of you. I did maybe a couple times. last
Okay,
year.
yeah. But still, that's why we go, right? We go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
we go there.
silly and have fun and
Exactly.
just do all this. We don't go for all of that. But I will say this is nothing new. Politics and genre been around forever. One that kind of disturbed me is IMDb actually has a list on there of known conservative actors and directors and such. They don't have a corresponding known liberal ones. They just have a list of known conservative ones, which in a lot of cases are restricted from other work. I mean, it's happened to a lot of people over the years. It's not quite as bad as the McCarthy hearings and that kind of stuff, but still, it's in the same way. But politics has always been in our content.
Right.
I think when I first mentioned this idea to a couple of y'all, you said, well, it's always been there. Yeah. Captain America fighting the Nazis in World War II. That was a
Yeah.
normal story. Well, that's politics.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes some sense.
propaganda and such. Lots of different DC characters in the World War II era. Green Arrow was always, at least in the comics, was the extreme liberal, where Hal Jordan was the conservative. They even had a classic era where Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams did a series of stories, Hard Traveling Heroes, I think is what it was called, and they covered drug abuse and poverty and all this different stuff. An incredible award-winning series of comics. So politics in the content makes sense. I don't know if y'all have any good examples of that.
I
There was
don't.
the invention of the Venom, which was based on all the steroid abuse that was going on in the baseball
Steroid
league at the
stuff with
time.
Venom?
I love Danny O'Neil. He's my favorite.
Was that why Venom was created for Bane?
That's I didn't know
Venom
that.
actually came before Bane.
Wow.
That was actually surprised me when I found that out.
Yeah, it's been around.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
Good to know. Red, I give
There
you
you
credit.
go.
thank you.
Oh, Lex Luthor ran for president once and won.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I'd rather have Lex Luthor as president today. Just got to say, but
Yeah.
mixing politics in here with fandom a little bit. But
Because I mean, he's a true businessman. Like he makes all that money, and he invents all the interesting things.
Yeah.
He's an innovator. But that's neither here nor
yeah,
there.
V for Vendetta, one of your favorite ones, was heavily
Great movie.
political.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
That was
Watchmen.
intended that way, though.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Politics in the content of comics is perfectly fine. In the
Right.
contents of movies, in the contents of TV shows.
Yeah.
I mean, Supergirl every week has something very political or
Yeah.
current social issues. That's just normal. It's when it bleeds over into how we
Yeah.
do the rest.
And that's
Um,
it's one of the main reasons I feel like a lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi. Like going back to that, it's just there are just very very heavy-handed like overtones of just the
Casino.
The casino, the entire casino
yeah.
scene.
Oh yeah.
I know that's your favorite scene in the entire thing.
I fell asleep during that
Yeah.
scene. It was so boring.
But it's like you have the liberals who are like the rebels in a sense, and you have like the alt-right or like I
Yep.
guess the Nazis or the White Order or something like that. Like you can see that like they made it too, I guess, clear. Like they made
Yeah.
there was, basically. Yeah.
But again, within the story, that's
It
okay. You
works.
can choose to go see the movie or not see the movie. You can
I had
do
a lot of
whatever.
problems with that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
I did.
I enjoyed it though.
I liked it, but I had a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
It was an equalizing movie. That's my main reason why I like it.
Nothing really happened.
That's the point. It kind of just wiped the board.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
It
did.
definitely wiped the board.
Yeah.
Something happened. Princess Leia flew through outer space like Mary Poppins.
That did happen.
That did happen.
Yeah,
that happened. You
Just
can't,
without the umbrella.
I can't blink that out. I want to blink that out.
It's a force umbrella. Just
So a little history lesson. I thought I'd give you all a history lesson. Back in 1954, there was a book put out by a guy named Frederick Wortham. He's an American psychiatrist. Title of the book was Seduction of the Innocent. And I don't know if you may have heard of that. I'd heard about it over the years. The topic of the book was that it warned that comic books were a negative form of popular literature and a serious cause of juvenile delinquency. At the same time, a guy by the name of Estes Kefauver, no relation. My last name's Estes. His first name is Estes. So no relation. But Estes Kefauver, a senator from Tennessee, again, no relation just because I'm from Tennessee, no relation.
This is a quite heck of a coincidence.
This is why I know so much about the story, because it's like,
Wow.
whoa, that freaked me out. He had a whole congressional inquiry around some of this and bought into these theories and brought in Wortham to testify, then brought in the publisher of EC Comics. And EC had a whole line of comics that got into the horror and a lot of very graphic, violent images. At the end of which they did not find that the blame for violence and delinquency and all was with the comic industry, but they did recommend that it tone down its content voluntarily, which was the reason for the creation of that nice little sticker, little stamp we see on the cover of comics for years. Probably not anymore in most places, but the Comics Code Authority. It was a voluntary thing, and that was why that came about. So there was a heavy politics getting involved in the comic book industry, not the rest, but in the comic book.
And the same thing happened with video games recently.
yeah.
But that's definitely not related, huh? Yeah. No relation, same name. same
No relation.
No, I mean, you just don't know these things. Do you look like this guy?
I have no idea on that.
No, because people always ask me, like, are you related to Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Because I look just,
I mean,
twins, right?
the
Me and the Rock
resemblance
twins.
is
For
kind
anybody
of
who's looking at
uncanny.
me on the video right now, I'm going to point that direction. Look at him on the video right now.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson,
Yeah.
almost, like,
Totally.
we're almost twins.
Yeah,
I get the
I
same
have more
thing
hair
as
than he
Tom
has,
Holland.
you can see that.
What, that you look like Tom Holland?
No, that we have the same last name.
Oh, okay.
And nobody cares about that.
I care about that.
No, no,
I
it
get
doesn't.
confused. Is he like your cousin? No,
You sure?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Eh.
That's one I'd be okay with claiming, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt anything.
I mean, like Rosario Dawson, if I could say that she was related to me, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a suck, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I was just doing. I all the time.
Oh my god.
So anyway, I guess my point is, it's nothing new to have politics infringe,
Right.
but there definitely is a line that can be crossed. When it's in the story, it's okay, but like holding congressional hearings about juvenile delinquency because of content of comics,
No, it's
that's where things like this banning
That was
of
back in
people.
the 50s, all right?
It was in the
Didn't
50s,
better do back in those days.
but it could be a slippery slope. Having this guy in New Jersey banning actors from conventions.
Yeah.
If that became something that's acceptable and it happened left and right,
would
suddenly
create a
you could be.
oh.
What I say, you could be affect a lot.
yeah, and it's just it. There's already a wide schism in our country. It would just widen it even
Yeah.
further.
Even more.
No, we don't need that.
No, not
Like
at all.
I feel like politics can be included into a situation or like a comic book or a video game or whatever when it brings people together. Like if you're going to inject your ideas and your belief in order to create a divide in something, it doesn't.
You're adding to
it-
the problem.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need. It's
Yeah.
not needed.
Well, and also the audience you're going to find at a comic convention is typically better educated than the average general public. And I say that because there was a convention I went to many years ago, and the actor who played Jeffrey Sinclair on Babylon 5, which if you didn't watch it, it's okay. He was the first commander of the station. But the actor was going to be there, and we went to hear him talk. And it was one of those large rooms, like 1,000 people or something, one of those big auditoriums. And he said, okay, before we get started, I always want to do something. So he had everybody stand up. He said, okay, if you've not yet graduated from high school, sit back down. And there's a handful of people had their kids or younger people there. Okay, if you've graduated high school but not yet gotten your bachelor's degree, sit down. And a few more sat down. Now, if you have your bachelor's degree but don't yet have your master's degree, sit down. Not many people sat down. We're still talking like 80 to 90% of this audience was still standing with bachelor degrees. All right, now you have your master's degree, but don't yet have your PhD. And about half the audience sat down finally, but half of that 1,000-person audience
Had like master's
actually
or
had a
doctorate.
master's degree or
Do you
better.
have a bachelor's degree?
A bachelor's only.
You slack,
Yeah,
man.
slacker. And then he went one step further and said, if you have your PhD, remain standing, everybody else sit down. And there was still a good 10 to 20% of the audience that had PhDs in our
Well, think of
audience.
this for you for the future. You're smarter than this guy, and you have a bachelor's, right?
I am not going to say I do have a bachelor's, but I'm not going to say.
He
So-
could be.
No, you
He
put
could
him in the
easily be.
spot like
Oh,
that.
I'm just saying.
He could be.
Yeah.
That's you in 20 years right there.
Well, I mean,
I'll probably be working where I'm at. I'm not going.
well, I'm trying to go into like mental health counseling, so I'm
He
probably
needs that
yeah.
too.
Well,
So
you-
he
you are-
he could be your client.
You are just hurting the Titan. Why? You're just attacking him. It's
Attack
the
on
attack
Titan.
on
Attack on
Titan.
Titan, that's
This
what
is
it
the
is.
attack on
Attack on
Titan.
Titan.
Hopefully it ends better.
But I guess
Yeah.
my point is, that is a perfect place to have these conversations. Instead of banning someone like Kevin Sorbo,
Exactly.
if you don't agree with him, you're in an
Asking his
audience.
points.
You're in an audience where you could actually have a good debate and conversation with people who are not going to just, get out of here, you idiot, blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah.
you can actually have a good intellectual conversation.
Because a lot of these people will want to have this conversation. Because,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
like you said, they're intellectual. They're
Intellectual,
intellectuals.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, you think this way. Why? Please, like, elaborate
It's a
so
good
we
debate.
can understand.
It'd be
Exactly.
a very good, lively debate.
I agree.
It probably would get lively, but it would be
It'd be a lot better than
professionally
just saying,
done lively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this one? George Perez, we're big fans of his.
Yep.
He will not do autograph shows in red states.
He did. I found out he did finally recant that.
Did he? Okay.
No, but for about a year he didn't, but he finally did. He still said though, if he goes into a red state, and in fact any convention he goes to, he'll put up a little sign next to his booth. He will only do autographs for people for a donation, and I don't know that he has a certain amount, but for a donation, and he puts what that donation is going to, and they're very non-Trump level politics,
Oh, that's fine.
and that doesn't mean anti-Trump, but it just
Right.
means raising money for
like Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood,
Yeah.
great example. LGBTQ, how many other letters
That
go
gets-
after
I mean,
that?
good for him.
You know, things
Good
like
for
that.
him.
So he wants people to look at it and go, okay, I support this or I don't support it, or I'm okay with supporting it because I want this autograph more. He wants people to think it through. But yes, you're right. For a long time, he would not go to these conventions because
That's kind of petty.
Yeah.
I think if you had that strong opinion, you should go to these conventions to speak your mind.
Yeah.
Because you're very persuasive, I think. People look up to you, and they could actually he could change minds. I think he really could. And that could actually change the red
Yeah.
state otherwise. And again, that's his opinion.
yeah.
Um,
I think it'd be great. Well, I do want to finish out my thought on this and get anybody else's thought. There was somebody who went to the Republican and Democrat National Convention as a reporter. He was going to all the conventions. He's a reporter, all this kind of stuff. And when he left the Republican one in the summer of 2016, his palate cleanser was to go to San Diego Comic-Con. He happened to be also at heart a geek and wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con to just brush it all off. But he also wanted to kind of interview people and talk to them and get their opinions and see if he could get an idea of, okay, here's the general public saying, how much does the San Diego Comic-Con audience do? So he'd walk around asking people, do they support Clinton or do they support Trump? He said the greatest percentage of them, and I was expecting this to come back, showing how intellectuals support one party more than the other. He said by far the greatest percentage of them came back with one of two answers: who or who cares. So if that is the greatest percentage of people, then that also makes this Kevin Sorbo thing really,
It's irrelevant.
really.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's my last thoughts. Are there any other thoughts about politics and fandom before we get to the B-Man for next time?
I think it's kind of discerning that you have an area where a lot of intellectuals are, and they don't care necessarily about who's being elected.
I don't think it's not really a matter
I mean,
of
not-
caring.
That
it's
is
more
bad.
a
That is
matter of-
that is a bad.
It's a bad thing. It's just what can they do about it?
Yeah, exactly, right? But I'm saying it's just
It's
like,
apathy.
yes, exactly. It's just that lack of, feeling or caring about what's going on, because I feel as if a lot, like, the smarter you get, the more I feel you kind of realize that things are going to happen the way they're going to happen anyway, and the pull that you have might not be enough, and collectively, that's probably why a lot of this stuff is happening the way it is.
I will say this one writer did interpret to say that it was actually a bad sign for Clinton and a good sign for Trump,
Yes.
because the type of people at that convention are ones who probably would have voted for Clinton,
Oh, yeah.
not Trump. And the big challenge for both candidates in any election is to turn out their voters.
Mm-hmm.
And the Trump voters were turning out. If she couldn't get people who would either normally support her or at least who would vote against him
Yep.
to even care,
She
that
had
was
no leverage, yeah.
you know, that was a bad sign. And then we saw which way the election went. But just think about it: if 50 to 60 to 75% of people who attend sci-fi conventions across the United States had turned out to vote,
I mean,
we'd have a different story. That doesn't mean we'd have a great president
oh
right
yeah.
now,
No.
But-
but we'd have a different story
Yes,
going on
exactly.
right now.
I mean, that's true in a way. I just think humanity in general, we have this need to hate people for different beliefs. You know, people in this world, I don't want to say like you like everybody, I think, pretty much, right? You try to say
I
that.
try.
You try to.
Try.
I'm generally the fact that there's bad people in this world and I don't like them. I don't care if they're black, white, gay, straight, whatever. It's just, if they're a jerk, I don't like them. If they're a good person, I do. What the beliefs are, whatever it is, I don't care. As long as you handle life appropriately. And that's just my belief. I just think people just find a reason to hate each other, and it's mind-blowing. Like, why do you need to hate that? You know,
Yeah.
Brian's a black guy, I'm a white guy. The really difference is it's just opinion.
Yeah.
If she's gay or straight, who cares what you do in your bedroom? And people just kind of relax a little bit, I think, and people can't do that. And it's mind-blowing to me. And this is actually, the politics thing is just another thing. It's just, who really cares what his political belief is? Politicians in general are not good people. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
all of them.
I will say, to your point, to tie that into a comic thing is a nice closer. Since you mentioned Watchmen at the very beginning and original stories, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It was Ozymandias' entire premise in Watchmen and how to unify the world was that exact thing. People need some focus for their hate, and he gave them a focus outside of each other.
And it's
that
funny
was the
you
whole
say
point
that,
of it.
because
Yeah.
Clever. 'Cause
I'm one of the few people that actually said, I see his point totally. I really did. And I said, wow, is the best way to, it ended a war.
Yeah.
It ended the end of the world, in a way.
hate
Was
in
he
its
really the
own
bad guy?
sense is a unifying factor.
I mean,
So-
if you look at the reasons we hate each other, it's just such a minute reason. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
But war's created over it, so...
That being said, even for one of our favorite books, it could be as much as eye color.
Yeah,
You never know.
exactly. Yeah, this is true.
Probably true. Probably,
all right.
It's probably true.
So on
I
that
feel like
note, B-Man, do we have a question of the week for next time?
All right, so awards came out there. We mentioned Wonder Woman getting snubbed.
Yep.
Do you think superhero movies in general get snubbed? You never see a superhero
Still?
movie up for best
All right.
movie. Never
All
see
right.
it.
No.
All right.
I mean, I thought Beef and Dennis should have got one. So
So for next time, that'll be our question. I want to thank our guests here, Byron,
be back soon,
Red-
we believe.
Red Terror, Miranda,
Sure.
whichever one you prefer to go by.
Sure.
Um,
Let's just go with that, sure.
This is John Paul.
B-Man.
We are out of here. And since we're on video, we'll dance. We'll dance.
Oh yeah.
We'll dance.
Uh-huh.
Catch work.
He's gonna.